Welcome, everyone. It is Cannabis News. I'm your host, Joe Klare. It is October 31st, 2019, which means it is Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone out there celebrating. Or even if you're not, happy Halloween. Nonetheless, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, including Bernie Sanders' new plan to legalize marijuana if he becomes president of the United States. Also, more on the California legal marijuana market. A new report says things are looking great, and they're going to get even better. Talk about that, and we'll talk more about marijuana-infused Halloween candy, the annual fear-mongering, a bust involving some candy, all of that coming up. First, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by Natureside, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides grow safe and poison-free with Natureside. Don't use banned pesticides or harmful chemicals. Be regulatory compliant in the state that you are growing in. You can accomplish all of these amazing goals with Natureside, nature-side.com. Proud sponsor of Cannabis News. Thank you, Natureside. You're awesome. This first story is by yours truly at marijuanatimes.org. The Bernie Sanders plan to legalize marijuana. There's some good aspects. There's some bad aspects, at least in my humble opinion. Of course, the best aspect of it is something that needs to happen, and that is removing marijuana from the Controlled Substances Act schedule list. Not reschedule it to Schedule 2 or Schedule 3. Remove it completely. Moving it to a different schedule just puts it under some more other regulatory regime that's not going to really be legalization. Removing it is going to put it under some sort of regulatory regime in any case. But that's the least that needs to happen, is that marijuana needs to completely come off of the Controlled Substances Act. Bernie Sanders' plan would do that. He also is going to devote a lot of resources from taxes, basically figure out some way to put a federal tax on marijuana and use that money for people who've been harmed by the drug war, helping minority communities get in, have the access to the capital to get into the marijuana industry. One of the more interesting aspects of what he says in the plan: 1, ban companies that have created cancer-causing products or are guilty of deceptive marketing. 2, ban tobacco cigarette corporations from participating in the marijuana industry. It's odd because, first of all, it's a problem because there already are tobacco companies that have invested a lot of money into the marijuana industry. But why tobacco companies are being singled out here seems like either pandering or some sort of punishment for past transgressions. If we're talking about corporations that make products that kill lots of people, it's a long list. You know, alcohol corporations, alcohol companies, they make products that kill lots of people. Car companies make products that kill lots of people. Gun manufacturers, they make products that kill lots of people. It's a long list of corporations, and to single out tobacco just seems like some weird pandering move that's really not going to accomplish anything and maybe do some real damage to functioning companies. People look at tobacco companies like there's just a bunch of like evil old Mr. Burns type characters sitting around a table saying, oh, how we get the kids hooked on our candy flavored cigarettes. No, it's a corporation with employees who use the money they make to go home and feed their families. At this point, and believe me, back in the 50s and 60s, there was plenty of evidence that tobacco companies actively kept the fact that these products cause cancer, and a lot of people started smoking and got addicted to them without knowing, and they were defrauded, and it cost them their lives, or their lives were cut short at the very least. I understand that. But in this day and age, if you don't know tobacco products cause cancer, I don't know what to tell you. You're voluntarily buying something that may give you cancer. If you're an adult, you should be able to do that. You want to buy smoke 6 packs of Marlboros a day? Go ahead. As long as you're not bothering anyone else or infringing the rights of anyone else, you want to smoke yourself into an early grave, by all means. And the notion that because they make tobacco, or part of their company makes money from tobacco, that somehow they're going to put some secret additive into the marijuana that's going to get people addicted and give them cancer. No, they're trying to move away from a product like tobacco that's kind of deadly and really is, not got the best PR over the last 5 or 6 decades. Therefore, tobacco smoking and tobacco use has dropped precipitously. So these companies are thinking, well, what else can we get into? Are they barred from all other industries where they don't cause cancer? They're not allowed to make soap because the tobacco causes cancer? They want to get away from that and move on to something else, something that people want. And in this case, it's marijuana, which happens to not cause cancer. I think they should be applauded. I think they should be encouraged to give up tobacco completely and move completely into marijuana. You know what they're going to do? They're going to compete with everybody else. And I know you all have visions of like secret scientists and they're putting, nicotine in the marijuana. With all the testing and regulations that are going to be involved with this, you really think that's going to happen? This big tobacco fear-mongering, this ain't the 50s, Holmes. This ain't, Lucille Ball on TV smoking Chesterfields or whatever. I don't know if that's a coherent reference. I don't care. It's in the ballpark. It's a lot of 50s stuff crammed into a sentence at the very least. Anyway, that's Bernie Sanders' plan to legalize marijuana. And look, I'm all for it. Yeah, we need to legalize marijuana. But a bunch of useless stipulations and stipulations that are going to cost people jobs and do damage to functioning legal corporations. These companies that make tobacco, they're legal. They haven't been banned. They're selling legal products to people. To single them out is weird. But in any case, we move on to SACB.com. California's marijuana market will soon have, quote, thousands of retail stores, according to a new report. That'd be great. We've talked a lot about California's adult use market here on the show. By 2024, cannabis sales growth in the Golden State will account for nearly a quarter of all sales growth in the United States, according to a report entitled From Dispensaries to Superstores, Opportunities in U.S. Cannabis Retail, issued by the well-known folks at BDS Analytics and ArcView Market Research. We've been talking about their reports here and elsewhere and in the cannabis space for several years now. According to the report, while the market has faced initial difficulties as the industry and regulators dealt with the headaches of a new untested regulatory scheme, rigorous new testing requirements, heavy compliance and tax burden, and some slow-moving licensed jurisdictions, retailers in the state still have managed to generate more than $2.5 billion in sales. In the next 5 years, that amount could increase by $4.7 billion. The report forecasts accounting for nearly a quarter of the predicted $20 billion in additional sales nationwide. California now allowing cannabis companies to deliver their product anywhere in the state, regardless of local ordinances. The report predicts those local jurisdictions who have banned retail stores will get over their qualms in pursuit of tax revenue and become more likely to approve license applications. I hope so. I mean, the report goes on to say there will certainly be thousands of retail stores in California. If most of these jurisdictions will lift their bans, then yes, absolutely. There could be tens of thousands potentially, but yes, thousands very quickly. Most of these jurisdictions will lift their bans and the investment will flood in. Because again, marijuana is a product people want. There's no secret about that. It's not it's not classified information. People want marijuana, and if you allow people to sell marijuana, well, they'll open up stores and they'll employ people and pay taxes. It's crazy. It's crazy how it all works, comes together. People act like, well, this is new. The only thing that's new is it's cannabis. Everything else is the same. You put up a store, people can buy it, they leave with it. You take that money, you give some to the government, probably too much, I grant you that, but you give some to the government, you keep the rest of it. You buy more marijuana, you sell it. It's business. It's just a different product. But it's the same. It's a product people want. Like any other product that people want anywhere else in the world. Any other commodity, anywhere. Marijuana is the same. It just happens to be more popular than most. Which is not a bad thing, last I checked. But I don't know. Some people think it is. Halloween. It's Halloween, as I mentioned. We've already talked about the annual fear-mongering and scare myths of, beware, there's going to be marijuana edibles in your kids' marijuana candy. There never has been, there never will be. In any case, this was an interesting story when I searched for stories like that today. Marijuana-infused Halloween candy seized during drug investigation. When you do a Google search of marijuana and Halloween candy, now it's about half and half. Half say, beware the marijuana edibles. And the other half of the articles are people saying, that's a myth and that never happens and you're stupid and you should stop saying that. In any case, amidst all of that was this story. And I thought, well, that sounds pretty interesting. Let's dig deeper into that. A man has been arrested after police said they found marijuana-infused Halloween candy during a drug investigation. On October 24th, the Greenville Regional Drug Task Force received information that marijuana THC-infused candy was being delivered to Greenville. Through investigative means, detectives came in contact with 21-year-old Owen Lee McKinney of Anderson, South Carolina, in the area of East First and Harding Street. That doesn't matter. Most of you don't know what that is. McKinney was found to be in possession of 200 THC-infused Nerds Rope candies, a handgun, and $1,600 in U.S. currency. It sounds like he was ready to party. McKinney was charged with possession of intent to sell and deliver Schedule 6 and carrying a concealed weapon. I don't know what that means either. What's Schedule 6? I guess that's a South Carolina thing. Anyway, $15,000 bond. But here's the rub, because we've been pointing out that people don't put these candies. It's not Halloween candy meant for children's bags on Halloween. Detectives believe the candy was likely going to be distributed at college parties. And by distributed, they mean sold, obviously. Detectives said they have no reason to believe it was intended to be distributed to young children trick or treating. Of course not. This guy was going to sell these at college parties and make bank. Make straight bank, son. 200 nerd ropes? What was he probably selling for $25 a pop? That's crazy. But instead, he got busted. Someone snitched. Guys, it's college kids. They want to have some fun with some marijuana-infused nerd ropes on Halloween. Get off their backs. I don't know. In any case, it's there's some parties that are going to suffer. They're going to suffer for the lack of what could have been. Happy Halloween, everyone. Again, if you still have to go out somewhere, it's kind of late, I know. I've already done my trick-or-treating thing and all that. Very long day. In any case, if you still got stuff to do, be safe when you're out there. Thanks for checking out Cannabis News. We're here 5 days a week. Marijuana-times.org is where you can find us. Search the Marijuana Times on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts to find the show. Thank you for watching and listening today. Continuing to spread the truth about cannabis with this show. We'll see you next time, right here on Cannabis News.